Today is episode 92 of 2A's Reading Comics. Today we're going to be taking a look at Morbius just right before the movie releases. Actually, I think it came out. Well, you're not supposed to talk, Davis. Came out yesterday, maybe, if I have calendar correctly. Thursday, maybe Thursday. Davis says it's Thursday. We're also debuting segments. Yeah, and we're going to try to put those on social media and be good at this for once. Who knows? Probably not. But would love if you'd show support, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But that's enough for that, so let's get in the show. And welcome to the best damn book club on the internet. My name's Ryan Talmadge. That's Davis Crocker. And today we are taking a look at Morbius. We actually 2 for 2 on stuff that came out.
We timed the shit up right.
Almost like we planned it.
I know. It's like we planned all this shit. Yeah. It's weird.
We're also debuting segments this month. We'll get into that a little bit later. But today, let's go ahead and get some credits out the way. We're reading Morbius.
It's going to be Morbius, Volume 1. This is copyright 2019. We've got a writer, Vita Ayala, Ayala. Pencilers, Marcelo Ferreira, Paulo Sequeira, and Francesco Mobili, Mobili. Inkers, Roberto Poggi, Scott Hanna, and JP Mayer. Color artist, Donnie Sanchez Almara. Letterer, VC's Clayton Cowles, our favorite.
What up, Clayton? So, it was an okay book, at best.
This is not what I thought a new Morbius comic would do.
I think the problem is, and mostly it's a Sony wanting to have their Spider-Man universe, but also not very good at making Spider-Man movie type problem, is that they're taking all of Spider-Man's villains and turning them into anti-heroes. And
yeah,
that works with Venom. I could even work with their Black Cat movie. I'm not looking forward to Kraven, because I don't know how you're going to turn a guy who hunts people into an anti-hero, but
yeah, good.
I guess he only hunts bad people. I don't know.
That's not Kraven. I mean,
yeah, and now they're trying to do it with Morbius, and so I guess Marvel tried to capitalize on them making a movie, and so they did a solo title for a little bit. I don't know. But the only other choices were, because this was, as far as I'm aware, the first Morbius title, because he's only ever shown up as a villain in different books, like Spider-Man, I think, was the first, and then like the Fantastic Four, I would assume Blade and other stuff like that.
Yeah. My biggest thing from this is talking about how this is kind of his first story. I was expecting to get more of. I mean,
he's been around for a long time.
He's been around for a long time, but I'm talking about like kind of his
first
rebirth.
Solo. You thought it was going to be a origin story?
I thought we were going to get a little more origin. We're going to get some.
Just a little bit. They like Batman v Superman, where they did Batman's origin in the opening credits.
True.
Because everybody knows it. They kind of did one of those. Basically, he was sick of something, and he thought this would cure it, and then he's not like a legit vampire. He is this cure, like he thought this bat stuff was going to cure him, and now he just thirsts for blood, and that's what he needs to survive. But he doesn't have like any of the other weaknesses of vampires.
True. Yeah, I kind of wanted what the movie looks like it's going to be so far off of the trailers. And again, the way Marvel, though this isn't Marvel, this is Sony. Marvel's been good about teasing stuff in a trailer, but then altering it completely in the movie.
Yeah, Sony doesn't do that.
Sony's not that way. So what we see in the trailer with Sony is this is going to be a Morbius origin story.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're going to see Michael Morbius, the doctor, sick, find a cure,
played by Jared Leto,
turn into Morbius, into the vampire Morbius.
Yeah.
And this we see him as already afflicted by his curse, becoming worse
Oh
And
yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah. In the
worse.
comic. Yeah.
And then him trying to figure out a way to get back to at least sustainable, but doesn't
And
quite want to go all the way back to human. He wants to get in
I
that
think
weird.
he wants to. I think Spider-Man had to talk some sense to him. And was like, look, you're kind of so far past the point that might not even be possible. Your DNA might be so far gone that if we could get you back to your baseline, that would be a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
Um,
And you kind of see that at the end when he's wearing the iconic kind of V-neck
Yeah.
navy with red stripe kind of suit, and he looks tame.
Yeah.
But this one, I mean, the whole time, I didn't much care for the way they kept drawing and kept not animating, but drawing him throughout the series.
Yeah.
Because you were sitting there like,
well, I mean, based on how many names you just read off, doesn't seem like they had a constant artist. And I actually heard, I've been just looking through other comic YouTube pages, and apparently it's a big complaint right now with Marvel is that they just can't seem to like make up their mind whether especially on like these like not very well selling characters, is that they just can't. They're not even giving them a fighting chance by having a consistent art team.
yeah, I mean, I just read off for pencilers alone. We've got 3 names.
Yeah.
Inkers, there's 3 names.
And that's like 5 issues.
1 color artist, and then a letterer is the Clayton Cowles, of course. But
yeah.
And we were talking about 6 different people trying to be pencilers and inkers.
Yeah.
And a 7th being the color artist.
Yeah.
So colors is one thing. Yeah, all right, my colors are all the same. But if we've got this guy drawing Morbius as this really fucked up character.
Yeah.
But then this guy draws him in a little more, you can really see detail in his face. Oh shit, I got to add a little more color. I got to figure out how
shading and all that.
Shading and all this shit that's going on. And it just...
I think my main complaint though was, and I get what they were trying to go for, but it's just, I don't know how you do it in modern day comics, is all the inner monologue of him. A lot of it was very repetitive, like each issue had like the same, at least like 2 pages of inner monologue. And I get you're kind of going for this like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing, where he's like, oh, how can I like cure myself? I long for the day I can be human again.
Of course.
It's just like every single issue. And when you read collected versions, that's bound to happen. But it was just like, okay, man, that's a little too much on the
But outside of that, and then when he finally goes up against
Melter.
Melter. The Melter. That's an interesting name. But we go. There was 6 issues.
Yeah, 5.
We go 5. We go 5 volume issues of him doing his inner monologue, fight against himself.
Yeah.
And 1 issue of him actually fighting somebody out, like turning and actually
fights
fighting
against the lady though.
Yeah, but they were like 4 pages, and then But like you're saying with the inner monologue, we just go continuously of this inner monologue, and then this 1 fight.
You got
one big fight, one massive.
You got some cool like Morbius stalking the bad guys pages at the beginning though.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
like gave me kind of a Batman-esque
for sure.
vibe.
Definitely like the putting fear in the villains and stuff like that.
I did like the touch of throwing Spider-Man in there. Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that's what he debuted in.
Yeah,
was a Spider-Man story.
And I can definitely see where it was one of those. All right, guys, we need a draw. Like we've got to have. For sure. We've got to have something that's
if I was
bring
doing Spider-Man would have been on every cover.
Yeah. It's like we've got to have something that brings everybody into this comic. Because hey, there's Spider-Man. Go see what Spider-Man does in this. Yeah. And you can kind of tell that's what they did to it.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, that's like I saw another video on this. Is like, and I think I was going to talk about it a little bit when we get to Teen Titans next week. But you got to put like lesser known characters in with the draws.
You got to put the draws in there.
Yeah, put the draws in there, and then like hopefully you might do some cool stuff with the lesser character to where they can go start selling their own solo title. But
I definitely get that, and
now it's just like seems like nowadays they just put someone in their own book and be like, hey, this guy's cool. And it's like, I mean, yeah, but am I going to, especially comics are getting more expensive. Like, when I already have like 4 books that are $5 a piece, am I going to add a fifth?
Is
take a chance
this
on
person
somebody?
that has the almost exact same abilities as this person going to be enough
Yeah.
to draw me
Yeah.
to then go get their story that's going to almost be the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh, they've got super speed. Oh, they've got super strength.
Especially when I've been
what
burned on crossovers and all this other stuff.
What's the difference? What's the different aspect going to be to carry them over? And Morbius, again, especially with Peter Parker, they talked about with when Morbius was saying, oh, well, to Peter's like, oh, well, you don't know what it is to have an affliction. And Peter's going, you don't know me. And it's like, oh, well, okay, now Morbius is the same example of Peter of having a disease within them, trying to fight it, trying to understand what their new strengths and abilities are. And it's like, oh, so we just now have a
everyone gets their powers
fucked up looking now we have a fucked up looking dude instead of a normal looking dude.
But he kind of Morbius needed that tough love. He was he was moping, and Spider-Man was like, "Look, dude, everybody, go talk to all the mutants in upstate New York, and see how they deal with their powers."
Yeah, it's like at least you can do something. You're still you. You're still your brains. You still can help people. Mm-hmm. Just because you look fucked up doesn't mean you have to be fucked up. But the blood drinking part, ooh.
Yeah, that's why they call him the living vampire.
Yeah.
He's not technically undead and all that.
Because he can sustain himself without the blood, correct?
I
would imagine he just thirsts for it, right? He's not that he has to.
He doesn't like. I don't know. He has to have the blood to survive, and at the same time, like he doesn't like turn people, basically.
Because Peter makes the big point of, oh, am I now going to be you? And but yeah.
Yeah, no. We just ran through that super quick.
But I mean, it was what it was. It is.
Yeah, I mean,
it's.
I wish we could tell you if this movie's gonna be good. I don't know. I'm more excited for Moon Knight, to be honest.
Yeah, we've got Moon Knight on the 30th, and then we turn around and got Morbius on the weekend. It's like Sony tried to
Auburn. Oh, I don't want to say this.
Fuck Auburn. Fuck the March Madness.
Fuck it all. Right now we're about to play Miami Sunday, and I almost said we're in the middle of a March Madness run, but I know if I say that, we'll lose tomorrow.
It's just one game in.
One game farther than Bama. And Kentucky.
You know what? Y'all can go suck a nut.
And LSU. And Iowa. And
all the other teams. Tennessee did make it to the second round and got screwed.
I didn't watch that game. So
we digress.
But yeah. Fuck, that was still super fast. Did we at least get to 15 minutes? 14:47. Oh, no. Okay. Well, we have decided to start doing some segments as a push to get more just clips in general. We might start a clip channel, maybe. If not, we'll just try to make them shorts and put them on our YouTube channel. Yeah. Because apparently that's the new hotness. That's what the algorithm wants.
It's the new reels and
although apparently like some people have done so many shorts that it's messed with their like your average video length.
Now it makes
now you're having to like weigh it between. I don't understand how the YouTube algorithm works, but we're gonna try it. We might even start a TikTok. Who knows?
Stay tuned for future updates.
It'll be Two Idiots RC most likely like the rest of our social medias and stuff like that. But right now we got a few ideas. Today is just going to be stuff we watched. And somewhere we're going to try to spin a funny story to clip out of that. Actually, no. Batman came out since last time. It'll probably be our Batman review. It'll just be like, a month late. So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. The only problem with the Batman review is I ain't seen Batman yet.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be you.
Yeah. Batman's very good. I think like a lot of people, the first weekend I went and saw it, I was like, oh, this is like the best Batman. I don't think it's the best Batman. I still think it's right underneath the Dark Knight. But it's very good.
It's got a lot. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but it's gonna have to do a lot to beat the Dark Knight.
I mean, it's good. It's a very emo Batman. But see, that's what I don't want to spoil it for you. But you know how they say in Raiders of the Lost Ark, everything that would have happened still happened
Even
if you took
Harrison Ford, Indiana
Harrison
Jones
Ford out.
Yeah.
Batman,
this is the same thing.
Batman catches one person in it. It was not the person he needed to catch. And
I have heard that. I haven't seen spoilers. I don't know what happens, but I've heard that this is more of a villain not an origin story, but more of a villain centric movie.
Than Paul Dano
than
as
just being a Batman movie.
Paul Dano as the Riddler is definitely carries this movie. That's what I think someone said. The movie Seven, the one where it's Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt, and they're doing the killer. Movie. The killer is like
he's doing the seven deadly sins,
yeah. And the whole what's in the box, and they said, yeah, basically that was the best Batman detective story, if we're considering this a Batman detective story.
Shit.
But it was good. There's a hot minute at the beginning. Because Batman starts off with his monologue. He's like, it's October 31st, blah, 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 year. And I was like, I swear to God, if they just subbed out Calendar Man from The Long Halloween or whoever and just made it the Riddler. But no, like, the Riddler has his riddles and he has his little death traps that he puts people in.
Okay.
It's pretty good. Paul Dano definitely carries the movie. This Batman and Gordon, I still like... what's his face from the Nolan trilogy, because he looks like Gordon.
True.
Like
I forget his name, but yeah.
But this is one of the best. Like
now,
Gordon Batman.
This Gordon is the same guy that was in Hunger Games.
And
that was the techie
Westworld.
dude. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but I can see his face, and I like him as a character.
But this is like it's the worst Batman and Alfred combination. But is the best Batman Gordon combination.
I like that. And is this more of a like year one story?
It's
or is this more of a he's an established?
They say in the movie
not...
he's year 2.
Okay, so we got a year 2. So he's done some work. He's got a little. He's progressed a little bit. All right.
And like the best description I heard of it was Nolan put Batman in the real world. Matt Reeves made the Batman world real.
Wow. Okay.
All
right.
I would still like a more comic booky Batman because, like, when you do these super realistic Batmans, you rule out a lot of villains that I would like to see, like Mr. Freeze. God damn it!
You don't like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze? I mean, come on.
There's a reason those 2 Batman movies, we didn't get one until 2008.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
Now I just lost all the Batman villains in my head brain. But you know who the fuck they are. The good ones.
You're talking about more of the CGI.
Yeah, like
or not just the CGI, but more of the actual enhanced human characters.
Like the fun ones that you get to face in Arkham and all those.
Yeah.
No.
I know what you're talking about. Mr. Freeze
now,
and then...
what's his face says...
fried trying to talk about...
Like, they will never do Poison Ivy in a realistic Batman movie.
Yeah, why not?
Because she controls plants and stuff.
Ooh, an eco-terrorist Poison Ivy and now in the world now.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, easily done.
Oh, man, that's easy. She's taking out power plants and nuclear power.
Yeah, but she won't be in control of plants and all that stuff, though. They won't let her do that. But Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Yeah. Does it work?
It's amazing. I don't know if you knew it was him, though.
Well, yeah. I've seen
because it looks absolutely
because the second
like
it came out, everybody's like, "Who the hell is Penguin?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Colin Farrell." And everybody's like, "No, it's not." Like y'all are just lying. He's gonna be another character. And even Colin Farrell's like just shows up fat one day, and it's like, "Oh shit, that was actually Colin Farrell."
No, someone did a press interview. he said, "Wow, people treat you." He went into like a Starbucks in the makeup, and
As the Penguin?
yeah, and someone was
Oh.
like, "People treat ugly people or like
Not,
not
yeah, not him.
extraordinarily handsome people a lot different in this world." And everybody was like, yeah,
No
Colin."
shit, man.
Yeah.
Welcome to the real world, motherfucker.
Yeah. No. I mean, there was some stuff. I think you could have ended it at the 2 hour mark.
But you said this was a 3 hour
It
movie.
is all of 3 hours.
And
2:56.
And there was a while there that movies wouldn't go over the 2 hour mark. And everybody, and to me it was like, okay, you could have spent 30 more minutes and finished out a plot. Yeah. Was this too long?
It wasn't too long. There was some people think it drags in the middle a little bit.
All movie. I mean, you get. I mean, there's
a
stride,
little bit, but it's just like when you get to there's a point where they capture the Riddler, and then he reveals like the end game of his plan, and it was just like, someone said it best as like, Matt Reeves made a $50 million Batman movie, and they said, "Where's the like city threatening thing at the end? Like, where's the nuclear bomb? Where's the like all this?" And he was like, "Oh, I thought it was just good enough without it." And they were like, "Well, you've got this budget. Like, we got to do something. Like, show some pizzazz." And then like what happens at the end. It's just like, you didn't need that part. Like, you could have ended it at where they caught the Riddler. But
and that's kind of seems what's happened with DC is, and Marvel kind of led into it, is you can't just have a movie anymore.
Yeah.
You've got to have kind of the
threat.
What's his name that had all the big blow up movies that did the Transformers?
Oh, Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Yeah,
You've got to kind of have that Michael Bay moment of, oh, let's blow everything up.
Where do we have to spend $100 million in one scene?
Yeah, and it's like, why? You don't like.
Yeah. No.
It seems like the Hollywood has gone to that now of, oh, we've got to blow half the city block up to
I've
prove our
heard people
point.
talk about it. They were like, why do like there'll be completely unnecessary things on set, like from this to that to actor, like even not that like leading actors getting very nice stuff from trailers and stuff, and it's just like, well, yeah, if we don't justify the budget that we have now,
we'll never get it again.
Yeah, like they'll be like, you can do this, like we won't get it next time.
It's kind of a lot like federal contracts.
Yeah,
it is. Oh, you didn't spend it this year, so you won't need it next year.
Yeah.
No, we'll spend it.
Yeah,
we'll find a way to spend it.
Oh yeah,
because we'll definitely need it next year.
Mm-hmm. But it was good. I don't think it's. Again, it's hard to do it with you here, and I want you to see it. But I don't think like we went and saw it with some friends that we have, or I went and saw it with some friends we have, and then we went to eat after, and like we look online, and there was already articles about 8 ways Matt Reeves' Batman is better than the Nolan trilogy, and it was like, bro, and like they can be two separate things. We don't have to compare it.
Like why do we have to compare it? Yeah. Why can't it be its own thing?
Yeah.
Like we don't compare all the other Batman. Well, we
actually do.
We actually do.
We do a
lot.
It's kind of like, entertaining and YouTube clip. Yeah. But yeah. No, I put it under, and again here I'm gonna do it. I put it under The Dark Knight, but it's very good. It's definitely a million times the most like detective of any Batman.
And that was my
and then like you've probably heard this. He's like a really good Batman, but he's not a very good Bruce Wayne. And
I've seen that, and even in the clips I've seen of the movie.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen any spoilers of the movie. Just the clips of him.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell like when he is dressed up in a cocktail suit, he doesn't. He looks uncomfortable.
Well, no, he
looks uncomfortable.
I think he gets like 2 or 3 scenes where he's Bruce Wayne and the entire 3-hour movie, and the big one is him going to a funeral.
And I've seen the ones I've seen is he looks, like I said, he looks uncomfortable. He doesn't look like he.
Well, yeah,
like Christian Bale. Christian Bale, when they put him in a suit and put him in front of millionaires, he was a millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
He walked in strutting like a millionaire.
Well, like they said at the beginning of the Nolan trilogy, he's like, you're gonna have to go out and be a playboy millionaire because people are gonna wonder where the hell Bruce Wayne went. And they call him in this movie, it's like you're the recluse orphan who doesn't want to doesn't like Gotham City and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But,
Now, do you see was this planned to be a trilogy movie,
or
is this going to kind of be the whole DC? Excuse me.
Well, DC, they just throw shit against the wall and see if it works. They tease the Joker. I'll tell you that.
Well, of course. I mean, you can't have Batman and not at least tease the Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, Batman without Joker is like peanut butter without jelly.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, the way we've been in comics is get the fuck away from Joker for a little while.
Yeah, but I'll be interested to see how this guy does it. But I don't know. But I do think it is like one scene.
Will they bring Joaquin Phoenix in as this Joker? Joaquin Phoenix?
No. We looked up the actor after. It's the guy. He's one of the kids from Dunkirk, and he played. You've seen the Eternals?
No, so I haven't seen it.
I thought you watched it on Disney Plus.
I haven't made it there yet.
Oh, he was in the Eternals.
Okay.
He's the one when you get in there, like he can take over people's minds or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think it's like one. Basically, this whole movie was about how Batman needed to be more than Batman to help the city of Gotham, and I think it was one scene away. And I'll tell you this right now. I took this from Mark Bernardin because he proposed it, and then again, people in the opening weekend were so crazy about how awesome this Batman movie is, and he said, "Well, actually, here's holes, here's holes, here's holes." And the internet was the internet, and sent him death threats. So
God.
But yeah, he pointed out is like this whole thing was how he needed to be, because at the beginning he's like, I am vengeance, I am what Gotham needs, and through the story they kind of hint at it of like, hey, you kind of need to be Bruce Wayne with your philanthropy, and they for different reasons that once you see it we can talk about. But it was literally one scene away from being perfect where the mayor at the end is like, Gotham will rebuild, blah, 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 blah. And he's nowhere to be seen. And it's like, you have him as Bruce Wayne up there being like, standing next to her, or be like, for too long I've been a recluse and neglected the city that my family helped found and all this other stuff. And I will be a huge part of the rebuild. That's all you need.
That makes sense.
But yeah, it's still very good. Definitely, like if you love the detective parts, you'll watch that.
And there definitely hasn't been
a super detective.
I
think someone pointed out it's like the only detective in the Nolan stuff is when the Dark Knight, where he's like finding out like which bullet matched which one, and then found the fingerprint. That's
that
literally
was it. That was all there was.
But have you seen any? What have you been watching?
So
besides Formula One, Drive to Survive.
Yeah. I was
for real. If I get this isn't a sports podcast, and we always talk about it, but even if you don't like driving or NASCAR, this like you don't have to follow it during like the year-long season.
Like just
watch the Netflix show, because here's
what
it is.
10 episodes, 45 minutes a piece at most.
This is what it is. It's 10 teams, 20 drivers. That means there's only 20 positions in this entire sport.
Yeah.
And it's the top of the top of the top. And everyone is so competitive that like even teammates won't work together because they all think the company's favoring one guy. And it's just like one of the most like dramatic, like people say this league about NBA when it gets petty and all this stuff.
Nah, this is petty shit.
There's like 4 seasons of Formula One Drive to Survive on Netflix. Start at season 1 and just follow the storylines. It's very entertaining.
Contracts don't last 5 to 10 years. There's 2 guys that have multi-year contracts, and that's Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. At most you get
like 3.
The rest, over 10 of the drivers, have 1-year contracts.
Yeah.
They only have a contract for that season.
Yeah.
And, so they're having to race to keep their contracts.
And they don't have an off season. Like there's not a signing period like American sports. Like at any point in the season, they can decide who they want for next year.
Yeah, halfway through the season, go, oh yeah, you're fired. We're keeping him, but you got to keep driving for us to make money.
Your contract goes through the entire year.
You can't just fuck off.
Yeah. But it's very good.
But yeah, And
I
I
want to
grew
talk
up a
about
NASCAR fan.
my
and
bad.
I grew up a NASCAR fan, lost touch with NASCAR because it's gotten
Worst
boring.
thing
It's
NASCAR ever
honestly
did.
just gone.
Worst thing NASCAR ever did was put Dale Earnhardt Jr. on Hendricks with Jeff Gordon. That was the only, that
the
rivalry
whole,
was
the biggest
NASCAR for like a
rivalry was
decade.
Junior and Gordon.
Yeah,
And then they put them, like you said, then they put them together with Jimmy, and Jimmy just sat there and beat the shit out of everybody.
yeah.
It kind of lost its appeal. And again, the big trouble about NASCAR, you just drive in a circle.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. No, there's
and
not.
so
circles
I definitely lost track with that. And then now I've gotten into F1. It's so different.
And
it's
somehow
so much
you let
more
me
petty
rope you
shit.
into cheering for the worst team because at the
It's
time
us. It's American fucking team.
it was the only American-owned team, and
2
we
years
scored
ago,
0 points.
2 years ago they came in 7th.
We came in 4th.
4 years ago they came
The
in 4th.
first season
the
we came in
first
4th.
season they ever were in there, they came in 4th.
Yeah. But that's enough about the sports talk, I guess, on our comic book podcast. I did watch a movie last night that was very good. The Harder They Fall. And it's basically a badass Tarantino style Western with just like some of the best black actors and actresses.
I've heard of this.
Like, I thought I thought it was still like coming out soon.
Yeah.
But I heard someone else talk about it. I was like, I saw the trailer for that. I mean, it's Idris Elba, the guy from Lovecraft Country.
The picture I see in my head is like there's 5 guys, 2 guys are looking away, another one's looking straight at the camera. They're all wearing cowboy hats.
Yeah. But
I thought that wasn't coming out for a while.
No, it's on Netflix right now. I watched it last night.
Shit.
It apparently came out like December 2021. I was like, I thought that was in like y'all's 2022 preview. And like, I don't know if it was like a Sundance studio film and then finally I put on Netflix, but I thought it was a Netflix original. But yeah, I watched it last night. Fucking amazing. One of the best modern westerns I've ever watched.
That's awesome.
Or I guess
Western.
Yeah. But like
modern made Western.
Yeah, like I mean it stands up there with Django Unchained, Hell or High Water, The Highwaymen.
Tombstone?
I don't think I've ever seen Tombstone.
That hurts me to my soul a little bit.
When was that?
Tombstone's an old 70s Western.
I said modern Western.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that is my fault.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've really come to love like the Western genre, and I definitely need to go back and watch a bunch of stuff.
Speaking of that, did you ever watch Westworld? Did you ever get into it?
Dude, that guy, like I started watching the first season, and like halfway through, I was just like, I don't know, man. It got real slow, and then like I stopped watching it, and then I heard season 2 was very bad, so I just didn't watch it.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened to me too.
But this had Idris Elba, the guy who played Kong the Conqueror and Loki, and was in Lovecraft Country. The lady.
I need to finish Lovecraft.
That's.
I think I made it like episode 4, then something else came out.
Because
I stopped watching it, and
they finally all start tying together.
Of course,
like
I had a feeling.
Episode 5. But then the girl who played Domino in
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2, who's gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah.
And the lady from Watchmen, the HBO series.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
she's
what's
a
her name?
badass. And then it's got the guy.
She's awesome.
He was in Atlanta, and then he did that movie about telemarketers that was pretty good.
I don't remember. Lead actor? The lead?
Yeah, it was like, thank you for calling. And it was basically like he works at a telemarketer thing, and he's not selling anything. And then like one old black guy finally said, you got to use your white voice to get these people to buy stuff.
Oh, I've seen that clip.
Yeah,
I've seen that clip. I didn't see the movie.
It's that guy, and he plays a guy named Cherokee Bill, and when they introduce him, he's like, they're robbing a train. He's the most badass, like just smooth and calm motherfucker I've ever seen.
Definitely gotta watch that.
I fucking love that.
I like old westerns and stuff,
Yeah.
and that's gotta be fun.
Yeah, and it was just like, I think someone I was listening with the podcast I was listening to when I finally found out it was out. Said, this could be like completely false, but I think either people passed on it or someone said like, how are you going to sell a Western with black people? And which anyone who actually knows history, there were tons of black cowboys. They even say like at the beginning of the movie, it said all of these people existed.
Yeah.
And
because they were either.
And it was like,
I mean, we're talking about the westerns was the 1800s. So I mean, you're either either a runaway slave, a free slave.
One of the characters has a brand on him. And he said, "I ain't going back there."
I mean, it could be either bought, sold, traded, whatever, and they broke free. A lot like Django happened.
Yeah,
a lot like Django, and they became their own groups.
Yeah, but
they fought to survive.
But the guy was like, "Yeah, because every other thing we've ever said white people are better at, like sports and all this other stuff, they definitely weren't better at us than all, better than us at all." But it was very good. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I just watched that and then I binged.
What about Reacher?
Reacher's awesome, dude.
I made it episode 5. He has just had spoilers. He's just had sex with this
very hot. Yeah, I know.
Police girl that from episode 1.
Oh yeah,
knew that was coming. I mean, just episode 1, you saw that coming, and it's. I watched the Jack Reacher with
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Nothing like. Someone said
it's cool because you had that scene of there's 5 guys that show up to Tom Cruise and he goes, "Well, I'm about to kick 3 of y'all's ass," and they laugh and go, "There's 5 of us." He goes, "Well, once I beat your ass, the leader, 2 of them are gonna bail and 2 of them are gonna stand up and kind of fight for their leader." You have that scene with in this new Amazon Prime with Reacher.
Yeah,
and I was like, "All right, that's cool." And again, 2 completely separate entities, but from the same.
From what I heard, the Amazon Prime Reacher is literally scene for scene that book.
Really?
Apparently, the Jack Reacher books are all like that.
Because of that show, I've almost downloaded it onto Audible to listen to it, and I'm probably gonna do it.
Now, speaking of Amazon Prime, did you watch the? It's basically like the Star Wars Visions, but it's the Boys universe.
No, because I've been in the middle of F1. I've been in the middle of basketball season, and then baseball's trying to get started here. Softball started up. Work. It hasn't made the queue.
Oh, it's. I mean, I don't know. It's like.
And again, I also didn't know what the premise was. Was this a tie-in to the Boys, or is this a lot like Visions, where it was just?
I mean, there's 2 that could definitely seem like they tie in, but then there's one that is literally like straight out the comics. Like Yui is like the Yui from the comics instead of the show.
Which I kind of like the comic idea was pretty cool.
Yeah, but there's probably like it's like Visions where like they did like 10 episodes. I think maybe like 4 of them were very good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
keep moving.
Oh well, shit. I'm trying to think of what else I watched.
All right, so I haven't seen it yet, but you remember Big Mouth, the one where the teen they're going through puberty. It's the cartoon.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
You've got the hormone monsters.
I had to start I had to start over at season 1. I'm trying to work my way back through it because I've completely forgotten that story.
So there's now a show called Human Resources with the hormone monsters in their world. God, I forgot the monsters. Universe? Yeah, it's the same universe, but it's them.
Oh, it's in their world.
It's in their world. You remember the most recent season where they end up going into the hormone monsters world, like in
they had to
universe.
rescue the redheaded girl from the depression camp.
It's them having issues with each other, like almost like The Office, but in the Big Mouth grotesque.
Okay, but is it the main monster that we have in Big Mouth?
Yeah.
Okay, because the guy. He's the guy who plays Rafi
it's the
girl.
Okay. It's the girl hormone monster. It's the fucked up
the guy who
old
voices
hormone
that guy?
monster. It's the purple cat.
Fuck depression cat.
No,
it's fuck anxiety.
It's
mosquitoes.
love bugs, and it's that group.
Yeah,
is doing it, but from their point of view, like The Office. And you get to see like
funny.
their world.
Is that on Netflix?
Yeah,
fucking
it came out this past weekend.
Hell yeah. Well, fuck, I don't know what else. Are we close to time?
I think we should be.
Yeah, we're 40 minutes. We'll find a clip in there somewhere. But next week, Davis recommended Teen Titans Academy. Yeah, and I got some thoughts.
There's some thoughts.
Yeah, we'll get into it next week then. We'll see y'all next time though. Bye. You didn't say bye.
Oh, bye.